And I sat right beside him and his first wife, Sandy. He talked to my daughter. I could tell you what he ate, but I had no idea it was him because he didn't have his hat on. And he has no hair. Did you all know that? He has no hair. Didn't know that because he's always wearing a cowboy hat. But anyway, we ended up getting his autograph, and he was really nice to us, and so he's probably one of my favorite country singers. So, who would like to go first? Okay. Eileen.
Well, this goes back to when I was in junior high, I think, or elementary school, junior high area, I think, around that time, when I was in love with Ralph Macchio. Does anyone remember Ralph Macchio from The Karate Kid? Okay. Well, he lived in Huntington on Long Island, about 10 minutes from my house, and I was always on the lookout for Ralph Macchio. I was a stalker. I heard he was over here, I would go over there. I would hear he was there, I would go over there. And I was just so obsessed with him. I even had pencils made that said Ralph Macchio is mint. I don't know if mint was the word down here, but up in New York, mint meant cool. But anyway, so he was also a hockey fan, and I was a Ranger fan, and he was an Islander fan. So I had season tickets to the hockey games to see the Rangers at Madison Square Garden, and he had season tickets to see the Islanders at the Nassau Coliseum. So it was very difficult for me to be able to see him at a hockey game. But then my cousin had season tickets at the Coliseum, and they were 2 sections over from his. She had saw him one day, and she got his autograph, and she called me up, and she was all like, na 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 na, you know. So I went to the next hockey game with her, and he was there, and we went over to go see him, and I was so nervous I felt like I was going to puke. I was like, oh. And when I finally got up to him, I couldn't even speak. I just held out a napkin. I felt like such an idiot. But it was the best experience ever, and I still have it. I have it in a little frame.
That's great. Well, had Garth had his hat on, see, I probably would have been doing the same thing. Who wants to go next? Okay.
I ran into a celebrity one time, completely unknowing. I was, my cousin, my uncle, my dad, and I were sailing around Biscayne Bay. We spent about a day, or we had spent a couple of days just sailing around out there, diving and whatnot. So I was looking and smelling my best when we came ashore. And I was a smoker at the time. I smoked about 2 to 3 packs of cigarettes a day. And I'd been on the boat for 3 days, and I ran out of cigarettes about day 2. So when we came in, we were going to get the boat put up. You have to put the boat up. There wasn't dock space for us. My uncle had his boat kept off, in one of these big racks. And we came in, and the lift thing was occupied. There was a line. I said, no, you got to let me off. There's a store over there. I have money. I have a lighter. I need to go to the store. So I got off the boat. I'm walking around, and this is somewhere off of Biscayne Bay, obviously, and I forget where it was. But anyway, I'm walking along, and then I see these 2 people walking towards me, and I saw a bunch of these trucks and stuff going on over way back at the back of this little area. And these 2 guys come up to me and say, hey, where are they shooting vice at? And I said, well, there's something going on over here. And we walk along. We talk about, I've been sailing and whatnot. And let me get a cigarette from you and all that. We're talking. And then come back, go over to my uncle's house, get showered, cleaned up, and sit down to watch TV. And it's a bunch of the guys from Miami Vice that I had been talking, because I'm like, I recognize these guys. These people used to work with. I don't know who they are, but we're just talking about whatever. And it turns out it was the sidekick, and I'm drawing a complete blank on the guy's name. Don Johnson's sidekick, and some other people from the show. It was all people you recognize from the show. And it was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I saw him and him and him. Thank you.
You know who Dexter Gordon is? Dexter Gordon's this jazz musician. He plays saxophone, and I was a big fan years ago, and he made this one album called Manhattan Symphony, and one song he did called Body and Soul, which will just make you cry when you hear it. And I went to a club to see him one night, and I was standing by the bar, and just, minding my own business, and he was on intermission. All of a sudden, this tall guy walks up behind me, and it's Dexter Gordon, And I, nervously shake his hand, say, "Great show," and it was just a phenomenal opportunity to meet someone of his stature. He's like a living, he's dead now, but at the time he was a living legend. But that's someone that stuck in my mind is important to me that I met. So that's my story.
That's a great story.
What do basketball and Windows have in common?
Broken.
Pretty close. My career with 17 years of a old company called Georgia Pacific, one of my first jobs with them because I refused to take a commissioned salesman position because my oldest daughter was going to undergrad at a small college up in eastern Kentucky that had a great need for money. So instead of taking a commission job, I took a job that I'd also been trained on. I did door window service for them for a little line called Peachtree Doors and Windows. Did it all over the state of Florida. Going there for a couple of years, get this email, call, whatever it was, or a service order to go to this house for a company called Terre Haute International in Naples, Florida. I wonder if it's Flurry's house. He just supposedly bought one down there. So I had to rebuild all the windows in his house. It had 8-foot doors. That's one thing I remember. 2-story house, had a huge bird cage, 90-foot long boat sitting in the back. They're very tactful and very tasteful. No big event. Didn't meet any big except for the superintendent. Worked there a couple days. Well, a few years later, we transitioned back into my sales role, back to Atlanta, back into heading up a team of very young trainees at Georgia Pacific, new starting out, never been involved with construction or understood anything. So my job was to take my team members out to visit their territory. We fly into Dayton, Ohio. We go to Richmond, Kentucky. We go to Louisville, Kentucky. We go through Terre Haute, Indiana. Of course, Larry Bird Boulevard. Larry Bird, just go eat lunch, go in a couple, it's Larry. Okay, he's a good basketball player, so what? Just another person. I've been the CEOs of Mars Candy's houses, guys, little crazy people that own homes that you look from the street don't have a dime, that have millions of dollars worth of gold inlays in their bathrooms and floors. A few years later, while I was sitting at Hyman's restaurant out in Charleston, South Carolina, out in front of Hyman. Everybody been to Hyman's before?
Yes.
Great seafood place. Here comes walking down through this crowd. We're on this big lineup because the wait for Hyman's is about 2 hours. Walking through the crowd is this group of players. This one old guy. He's ex-NBA. 2 sons with him, NBA players. I don't know what team, but I know they're NBA. Here comes Mr. Berg down through the crowd. I'm way down at the end of the line. As he's walking through, he's trying to brush past everybody very quickly so they don't harass him. I said, "Mr. Bird, how's the house in Naples?" I said, I rebuilt your windows a few years ago. Have fun. Mr. Bird.